First thing we're going to do now, let's turn these house lights down a bit so we're not blaring light in their eyes. First thing we're going to do is, I think it's so important here at the beginning of this series I talked about it last month, but I really want to be with it now. Death is an absolute lie. It is an absolute lie, and it is one of those lies that's so ingrained that people actually believe it. And then people die. And it's too bad, because it is a lie. It's an illusion. Now, I'm gonna be very straightforward. It's a shameful lie. There is no death. There is not. And somebody could come and say, but Adamus, look, well, you died, Adamus. No, I didn't. I did not. I have been said to have lived for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. I've been known to reappear well after the time of my death, but I did not die. I simply transitioned, and there's a huge difference. One could argue that the physical body dies, and therefore death is real, but it does not need to be. The physical body does not need to die as you know death to be. Heart attacks, disease, strokes, or just gradual deterioration, it doesn't need to die. You are going to be incorporating, you're going to be bringing in the attributes of your physical self into your I amness, and you're not going to die. You will transition out of a locked-in, limited, and oftentimes painful mode of existence. You will transition out of that, but isn't that what you've wanted? But you will not die. You will go into other realms where the physical nature and the intellectual nature are not supreme, where they're maybe not even known, but you will exist. You will be, and you will have the knowingness, the wisdom, and even the memories of all that you've done, where you've gone and what you've been. But in order to go into our transhumanism, our version of it, which simply means going out of singular human self, it's important that right now we transcend death itself. Humans in general worry about it from the moment that they have an awareness of their name, of their being. Young children are terrified from ages 2, 3, 4 years old about death itself, and it's never explained well. They're told that, what happened to Grandma? Well, Grandma went to heaven. No, she didn't. She went to hell. She was a bad grandma. Couldn't help that. No, she did not. She transitioned out of a limited physical and intellectual experience, parentheses, unsaid to child, prison. She transitioned, because we don't want the child too early to want to get out of prison, if you know what I mean. She transitioned. She didn't die. She is still there and here. And she's not dead in the ground. What a sad, sad thing, putting people into the ground in this day and age. Back then they had to, in a way. But in this day and age, what a sad thing, shoving your body down in the ground for the worms and the spiders and all the other crap that exists underground. And the pollution. They never had pollution back when. Now they have pollution. Your body is just sitting there in pollution. Ooh. And then a dog comes running through the cemetery and stops right over your grave.
Go back to bad words. Let's go back to bad words.
I'm just saying that this is not a pretty thing. So, and you're laying there.
Please go back to bad words.
Oh, no, don't, no.
Stay with the bad words.
You gotta laugh once in a while, right? Otherwise, you get too serious. You gotta laugh. It's so easy to get serious and heavy. Laughing, that's an art. So, where were we? Death. It's a lie. It's an absolute lie. And I'm going to ask you to feel into going beyond death. You are not going to die. You're going to transition sooner or later because you get tired of all this. I tell you what, you're already tired. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting here. No, really, if you were just so, dumb, stupid, happy with, being a human and your body and, your relatives and everything, you wouldn't be sitting here. But there's more. So that's why you're here. But let's take a moment right now. And we're going to be doing this. We'll do it every shout, okay, until I really feel we've gone beyond death. No music on this one. Just let's stop for a moment. Let's do a silent MERABH. Excuse me, you should go to the toilet if you have to. Or now can you do that with your mouth, as you would say.
Oh, that's what I would say.
Okay, see, we can laugh at death, right? We're sitting here about to go beyond death. We can spit on death. It is a lie, and I'm not just saying that philosophically or spiritually. It is factually a lie. And once we go beyond death, and that worry about death, that wondering about death, wondering what happens when you die, and once we go beyond that, you can live again. I asked about the tombstones. What would you put on? Well, I'll get to that in a minute. So let's die right now. let's go beyond it. Let's take a good deep breath. Silent MERABH means there's no music, but I talk.
Interesting.
We do that all the time, says Crash or somebody. Ben. Okay, let's take a good deep breath, and I'll pontificate a little bit. You've lived with the illusion of death for as long as you can remember, to the point where you actually believed it, as do humans. It's a reality, I guess. It's a reality, but not the reality. It's a way of living, I guess. But you're not going to die. You are not going to die. You're going to exist. You're going to, at some point, when you get tired of the physical condition and the intellectual condition, say, let's transition. Let's suck all that up, bring it up into our beingness. Let's pack that bag and bring it all up into self. You're actually there's still you have the illusion of death. Well, it's when your spirit leaves your body, you leave your body behind. No. We're going to bring the body with the essence, the energetic elements of the body and the mind and everything else, but it's going to be brought into the mothership, into you. There is no death. You're not. I proclaim on this day that you're not going to die. That human identity isn't going to be buried underground or burned in hot fires. I'm not hell. I'm talking of cremation. Some of you right away, I'm going to hell. No, not cremation. So in order to be the transhumans on earth, the embodied masters, we walk beyond death itself. So much darkness, so much fear, so much rhetoric and dogma and everything else about death, and it's simply not true. Not even the human dies. You know that human, not even the human dies to become the high consciousness, spirit, whatever. No. Even the human of you lives on. All the energetic essence of what you experienced in the physical being is brought up into the mothership. It's absorbed. It comes to you, and even the essence of your body, but a body now that doesn't age and doesn't go into pain or anything else. It's all brought up in the transition. But even long before that transition, there's the transition right now, the transition that's taking place out of ancestral body, out of mass consciousness mind. But as long as the human still fears death and wonders about death and has death as basically a goal, death is a goal, but one that you're trying to avoid, then it throws everything out askew. So let's just step beyond death. The whole illusion. It's written all over holy books. You die, you die, you die. No, actually you don't. Let's write that new holy book that says, I am that I am, I exist. There's a transition. There are many transitions of the self, but death is no longer in my consciousness. Let's take a good deep breath in this transhuman series. It's going to be a challenge in some ways. Your mind will come back to death and the thoughts of it. But I'm going to ask you to stop trying to avoid death and stop trying to think about it and just understand you are not going to die. I want you to feel that in these coming weeks. Imagine that for a moment. And I'm not talking about being immortal like the other transhumanists, where you're using robot parts and everything else to perpetuate a singular life. I'm talking about there is no death. It's a transition. Transitions you're used to. You are masters of transitions. You go through them all the time. And really feel into that, I mean, it's almost funny. There is no death. You, Master, are not going to die. What a relief. What a change of consciousness after all of this time of, well, in a way, you were kind of like them, the other transhumanists. You were kind of seeking immortality. In a way, you were seeking basically to have all the knowledge and all the wisdom. In a way, you were seeking to be superhuman, in a way, singular in a way, but we go beyond all that now. We put a big plus sign right in the center of the circle of the I am. That's one of the things that the 5 who I talked about earlier, who have allowed their realization, they realized, I'm not going to die. I'm not ever going to worry about it again. I'm not going to die. I'm going to transition, evolve. I'm going to transcend in so many ways, but death, no. I'll be bringing this up. We'll just do a short little beyond death thing at the next couple of shouts anyway. There is no death. And once we can release that, we are so free. Can you just imagine for a moment, not intellectually, but really, really saying, oh, that's right, I'm not going to die. What a relief that is. Let's take a good deep breath. And speaking of some transitions, and now with a little music. Other way. Now with a little music. Yeah, let's just throw a little light on their faces, make them wake up, and then we'll go right back into the real MERABH that I wanted to do today.